Hi. Okay. So today's video is inspired by a graphic entitled the Virtue Continuum. Um, the Virtue Continuum graphic, which I'm about to show you, very much aligns with, connects with the book that I am currently writing, called The Handbook for the Awakening Source Stream, which is my word. Source stream is my word for soul. Remembering that you are a source stream, remembering that you are connected to all aspects of yourself all the time. You are multidimensional. This is simply one iteration of your source stream in this realm, within the confines of time and space. Okay. Um, and one of the reasons that I loved this graphic so much was it gave a visual to a lot of various concepts that I discuss in my handbook. So I am going to share that now, and I hope that this will be useful for you on your awakening and integration path. I prefer to use the word integration over healing because you were never broken. Okay. Our mental holography here, which is programmed, indoctrinated with the idea that there is something wrong with us, with various self-concepts, core beliefs, the way that we see ourselves, which come from various experiences that we've had in this realm. They want to these programs want to tell us that we're broken, that there's something wrong with us. There is nothing wrong with us. Okay. That is the whole game here. The whole game here is an alchemical journey, inner alchemy, the journey from your mind to your heart, which is a labyrinth. Okay. And so, in order to experience again what we are, to come back to what we are, which is source creators, we are also experiencing what we are not. That was the original intention for this realm. Okay. Um, to experience what we are not, to experience what love is not, because we are love, so that we can find ourselves back to love, to the truth of ourselves. And what an amazing, brilliant idea that was, right? To create the polarities here as a backdrop, an alchemical backdrop to get to know ourselves better, to learn from ourselves better. And this is a big piece of it too, because so much of what you're learning in this realm is creating a feedback loop with your source stream, with your soul. Okay. Nothing is above you. No one is above you. Your soul is not above you. No other soul is above you. You are an individuated, um, infinitely powerful creator who knows that you are love and therefore also perceives all other source streams as love as well. In this realm is where things get tricky, but that's the game. That's the trek. That's the trip from the mind back to the heart, your heart being the portal, your heart chakra being the portal for where spirit meets matter. Okay. Um, and is literally the portal back to you, back to the remembrance of you, the truth of you. Okay. And so one of the reasons that I am writing this book is to teach nuance and teach discernment around various energies that are in this realm. Okay. And when I saw this graphic today, I thought, wow, this would be a great way to present just a little bit of the information that I'm covering in my book within a YouTube channel. So I'm just going to sort of go through these here. So the virtue continuum, we have deficiency on one end, we have excess on the other. So what I really want to get across is that no representation of any of these energies means that you are bad, okay? Whether there's an excess or a deficiency, it doesn't mean that you are bad, okay? This is the shame holography that has been created here in this realm, very much intertwined with fear holography. Everything that is not you, disempowered energies, that tell you that there is something wrong with you, that there's something to fix. Um, and so when we see words like deficiency and excess, I think the brain, the lower mind holography immediately wants to start judging itself and judging, oh, where do I fall on this spectrum? as opposed to just observing with the higher mind and getting to know ourselves better and using that observance to pull in perhaps a more balanced representation of an energy that is perhaps more beneficial. So these are the terms that I like to use: beneficial, non-beneficial, or perhaps beneficial, even detrimental, although I prefer really non-beneficial. So to benefit what? To benefit what? To benefit who? Well, to benefit you, to benefit your experience here, and then to benefit everything that you create, because this comes from how you see yourself, and to benefit every other energy that you interact with. So other humans, animals, every aspect of this realm, projects you're working on, just how you're bringing yourself to this realm. Okay. And so this virtue continuum graphic is very useful in our inner alchemy work as we're balancing various energies. A lot of these different concepts here we can also apply to actual elements, which is a part of inner alchemy. To keep it simple, we're just looking at earth, water, air, and fire energies, which are all within us. We are nature. We come from nature, and we will return to nature. Okay. Nature being the nature of all things, because spirit, source, ether is a combination of earth, air, water, and fire. It combines all. And then as we go down in density through the realms, those elements are split apart more, pulled apart more. Once we get here into matter, everything is split apart so that we can see these elements as separate things, okay? But they're all a part of us. They make up who we are as streams of source coming from source. We are source, okay? And those energies are within us now as well, all the time, okay? So in this realm, what happens is those energies can become distorted. They can become sort of amplified in some ways where it's no longer beneficial, or they can become diminished in other ways where it's no longer beneficial. We can also relate these energies to various chakras, various energy centers in our body, okay? And I don't know if I'm going to be applying every single one to all of these aspects as we go forward, but I'm just letting you know that it's possible to do this, okay? And if you do want more information on these types of topics, you can check out my other YouTube videos. And I also have an online integration and empowerment workshop happening right now, which is all about inner alchemy. And we talk a lot more about these elements and what they look like within us, okay? So the first one, integrity. So we have corruption and we have legalism. Okay. So I have an actual definition for integrity. I have a meme that I made somewhere, and I'm going to sort of paraphrase right now because I don't remember exactly how I've written it. But in a nutshell, the way that I define integrity is alignment with yourself, okay, and bringing yourself to the world that comes from you, in alignment with what you want to create, in alignment with how you're called to create it from a baseline of do no harm. Okay, so doing no harm to others. It's pretty much integrity. So when we look at this spectrum of corruption versus legalism, so it's very clear to see how corruption could be out of alignment with integrity, right? Like if we are intentionally creating distortions, if we are intentionally creating what is not love, if we are intentionally in service to self and not caring about other people or how other aspects of the realm are affected. And we're just caring about ourselves and wanting to enhance our power, our money, things like that. Okay, we can see easily where corruption is not in alignment with integrity. How is legalism not in alignment with integrity? Well, because integrity means that you are obedient to yourself. First and foremost, obedient to yourself. In fact, only obedient to yourself. Because when you are leading from your integrity, and leading from your heart center, you are in alignment with you. You are in alignment with you who is love. Okay. And so it's important to access discernment and wisdom and notice where you're giving your power away. Notice where you are allowing some external authority to have power over you or tell you how to be or what to do. Sometimes I'll see this in different beautiful souls that I sit with in terms of fear, where it's like, I have to do this or I have to do that because I'll get in trouble if I don't. And if you knew that you are a powerful, infinite creator, you would not have this fear. You would know that you are safe. Okay. But it's a lack of remembering that we are safe due, it's not your fault, it's no one's fault. It's due to the programs in this realm, the indoctrinations in this realm that begin when we were very young, go all the way through school with us, et cetera, et cetera. Everything is set up this way, okay? That will put us in a space of being obedient to a system or a narrative that is outside of ourself. And that typically will come from disconnection. It's like we're not in integrity because we're not in alignment with ourselves. We don't even know what we think about things. We're not even in touch with our discernment or our wisdom because we're so used to just giving our power away to authority and to doing what other people tell us makes us good or makes us right or makes us virtuous. And a lot of times these things, it's not the truth. It's inverted. It's actually what is not love. Okay. So even something like for example, if you have a lot of fears around paying taxes or something like that, a lot of times, from what I've observed, that is going to come from a place of fearing being in trouble, fearing, there's something bad about me. I am being a bad boy or a bad girl based on indoctrination programming from when you were very young, as opposed to looking at the system itself as, coming from a perspective of, is this even loving? Is this really honoring spiritual sovereignty? Is this really meeting collective needs from a space of oneness and unconditional love? And if you really start going down those rabbit holes, you will easily see that there are no systems in place at this time in this realm that are of any benefit in any way, shape, or form in terms of bringing back love, bringing back unity, bringing back oneness. Um, okay, so the next one is discernment. And we have foolishness on one side, we have legalism on the other side, or sorry, we have judgmentalism on the other side. All right, hang on. I have to pause for 1 second because my dog is okay. My little guy, Haken, was barking. My doggo was barking. So I had to let him out. Let me reshare this. Okay. I will not be editing this because I do not do technology. So if you're still with me, thank you and good job. All right. So discernment, foolishness, and judgmentalism. Okay. So do you see how this ties into what I was just saying before, the examples that I was giving before? So when we are in a space of balanced discernment, okay, we are tapping into, first of all, our integrity and our connection to ourself, okay, as informed by wisdom that we have accumulated from our life's journey, okay. We also want to have awareness for going into judgmentalism, because when we remember that what we see going on externally, that is not love, or perhaps what we see going on within ourselves, that is not love. It's not anything that we need to judge. It is something that we can simply observe. Okay. And we can also understand why it looks like that and how that's come to be. When we remember that in this realm, we have fallen out of the remembrance of unconditional love. Okay. And so when we understand that the whole game is to return to love and return ourselves to ourselves, source to source, we can see what's going on either externally or internally, whatever it is, um, not so much with judgment, but with understanding, with even unconditional love. Now, we're not going to go into foolishness with this, which is on the other side of the spectrum, where we will not come from a balanced space of having healthy spiritual sovereignty related boundaries. Okay, knowing that we are free, we are spiritually sovereign, that we are each individuated creators of our own game here. It doesn't mean that we're not going to protect ourselves when needed or plant a staff in the ground when needed, speaking to what is love, right? We're not going to be spiritually bypassing what is actually going on around us. We are also not going to be floating away into a space of, I don't have to actually do anything to bring myself to the world. I can just let whatever unfolds. Um, it- you know, from this idea that everything is going to fix itself, right? Because it's important that we bring who we are to the realm and bring who we are from a space of right action, which is fueled again by discernment and wisdom. Okay. So then we have love. Now this one is probably one of my favorites to talk about because there's been so much distortion. I mean, this fuels everything, right? Like we could link all of these to all of them. If we look at all of these different spectrums here, they're all intertwined, okay? But of course, love is sort of the root, right? Because we are love. And fear would be the sort of antithesis, the opposite end of the polarity spectrum. So we have selfishness and we have enablement. So in this sense, within this context, where I see that this continuum graphic is going here, is around this idea of codependency. Okay. So for example, let's say someone that you know is going through something really challenging, really difficult. Okay. Um, a balanced love energy would be to care about them, to see what they're going through, and to be there for them if they come to you, if they want to talk about things with you, um, if they're looking to be, seen in that space or heard in that space. Okay. Um, on the deficiency end or of the virtue continuum, we've got selfishness. So this would mean like we don't care about anybody but ourselves, right? Um, but let's not forget that we also do need to care about ourselves first and foremost, so that we are coming from a space of unconditional love for ourselves, and then that can overflow, that can spill out of us sincerely and genuinely. Okay. Um, and then we have enablement, which might now look like, okay, so this person that you know that is going through something challenging, you're actually taking this on as your own challenge. So instead of recognizing that we are individuated and that we are sovereign here, and that we are, observing someone else going through an experience and we can love them from a balanced way, this would look now like thinking about what they're going through all the time, thinking that you have to fix it for them, thinking that you should be doing more to fix it for them. Okay. And so this would be codependency. Um, and this can look like so many things across a whole spectrum. Okay. But this is not a balanced, unconditional love energy, because when we're in unconditional love, we recognize it and we honor that we are all having our own experiences here and that we all have to take our own journeys ourselves. And we can be here for each other and loving each other from a space of that observance and honoring. But as soon as we go into a place of making another one you, making another one yourself, we are potentially moving into a space where we are now looking to another to give us self-worth. So like if I take care of you, if I fix you, if I make you whole again, now I have self-worth. And so you're looking outside of yourself now, and the space to go is within, within. And then when you're bringing yourself, this is exactly what you're here to do. Okay. And that is going to benefit everything and everyone around you perfectly. The next one, we have respect. So we have disregard, and then we have idolatry. Okay. So disregard is going to be, yeah, like where we're not respecting or honoring the individuation, the sovereignty of another soul, another human. Okay. Maybe we're in a space of like feeling like we have to defend ourselves in some way, to the point where we have forgotten love. We have forgotten how to respect another inside of their own perspectives. Doesn't mean you have to like their perspectives. It doesn't mean you have to agree with their perspectives or act from their perspectives. But if we're coming from an energy of feeling like we have to protect ourselves and feeling really defensive because we don't know who we are as sovereign, empowered creators, then it can look like disregard. It can look like, I don't really care about you. And maybe in some way I am going to diminish you, or I'm going to ignore you, or I'm going to paint you to be some type of idiot, or, whatever, so that I can feel better about myself. But when I know who I am and I love myself, I don't need to make anyone else feel a way that puts me higher. Okay. I can just allow them to be, and I can understand that they're having their own experience without disregarding or falling out of alignment with my own knowings and my own ways of being or doing. Okay. And then idolatry is going to be where you are literally giving you're putting someone else or something else above you. Okay. You are regarding another soul here, or even it could be an archetype, it could be your perspectives of God or whatever, okay, different spiritual perspectives or different sort of like let's say like Jesus or the Buddha or Isis, or like different archetypes, like however we want to look at it, okay, is being like more powerful than you or better than you. Okay, this is idolatry. This is not hooking into the truth of who you are as source, literally as a creator, literally as an empowered, unconditionally loving source creator. Okay. Now, if we are looking at someone else as above us, being better than us, being wiser than us, or maybe just like, I don't know, doing better than us in some way inside of this human experience, a lot of times that's pointing to an energy within us that we haven't fully accessed or hooked into, or like brought through ourselves into the world yet. So like if I look at something or someone and I like something about them, or I admire something about them, that always tells me that there's something in me that I am not expressing yet, that they are reflecting back to me. Okay. And so we can use any energy that's like that at all as a place to tell us our missions here, like what we're doing here, why we're here, who we are, and then bringing in that solar plexus willpower energy to bring ourselves in new ways to the world. Okay. And that actually is going to relate to diligence, which is a couple down, but we'll get there. So the next one is humility. We have pride and we have degradation. Okay. So the way that I heard this was, so a lot of times in my sleep state, I go into what I call the void, and I talk with myself, my source stream. And I was given information some time ago for my book around what was called in this conversation pride wounds. Okay. And so pride wounds are a form of trauma here, where who you are, the way you be, um, as an individuated stream of source has been criticized, has not been seen, has been oppressed. There are so many different energies that can roll out in this space, and how that creates a pride wound, and how pride itself is something that we all should have if we are unconditionally loving with ourselves. So this is a space where I don't totally resonate with this graphic, although I understand what it's trying to do here when we see humility in the middle and degradation on the other side, because degradation would be where we are putting ourselves down and we're putting other things or beings or energies, whatever it is, above us. Okay, this is where we're degrading ourselves, we're diminishing ourselves. And this particular image shows humility as representing an energy that is somewhere in the middle, where it's like, I have pride in myself. I know that I am love. I know that I am beautiful. I know that I am a creator. I am empowered. Um, and yet at the same time, I'm not going to be leading from a place of thinking I am better than anyone else or less than anyone else, knowing that we are all equally important, meaningful streams of source here. And so that's where humility comes in. But as I said before, according to my information, pride wounds, pride is a beautiful thing to have, okay? Because it means that you know who you are and you're loving yourself. Pride is good. Pride is a beautiful energy to embody for yourself. It only becomes a shadow because all energies have a light and a shadow side to them. Okay. Pride only becomes a shadow energy if now we're starting to think that we're more important in some way than other people and not caring about other people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That said, we do first and foremost have to love ourselves and care about ourselves. If we are putting other people and their needs before us, thinking that they matter more than we matter, or else we are bad or shameful or unloving or something's wrong with us, and then we are once again in a shadow energy. Okay. So coming back to that homeostasis of equality. All right. So then we have diligence. So we have slothfulness and we have workaholism. So diligence, I love that they use this word diligence here because this speaks to the importance of what I was speaking to before with the solar plexus energy, that willpower. So once you identify who you be, any aspect of who you be as a source stream, as a powerful creator, and you want to bring that aspect into this realm in some way, it requires diligence. And because of the programming here, the indoctrinations here, the shame holography, the fear holography, the disempowerment, it's very easy to slip into either slothfulness, which is going to look like freeze as a trauma response, like just not doing anything, or perhaps like imposter syndrome that will fuel that. Or it could look like workaholism, which is where we are feeling like we have to constantly be working, 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 doing, doing, doing for us to have any worth. And so this is also going to be like another trauma response. So just diligence, just feeling into your body, with what feels good to you to create today. What do you want to build today? What do you want to work on today? And loving yourself enough to diligently, step by step, bringing those aspects of you to the world and also taking time to nurture your other aspects or other things that you care about. Um, and remembering that, you also are going to be taking in information sometimes and being more of a passive place where you're learning something or you're integrating something. Okay. So diligence and bringing yourself to the realm. And then we have temperance, which relates to this. So if we are coming from an energy of temperance, then we are going to be very balanced. We are going to be, I like to think of the archetype of Libra with the scales. Okay. So we are flexible, we are open, we are not giving in to self-harming behaviors or behaviors that we know are not empowered. The overdoing of things, like cramming a whole bunch of freaking sugar into your mouth or taking substances that are going to harm you or trying to fill holes or voids within you through sex or I don't know, does YouTube censor that? I don't know. Um, or any type of relating that is not coming from the remembrance of yourself as an empowered creator who is unconditional love. Okay. Um, versus strictness where it's like we're stubborn, we're not flexible, we're not open to changing our minds about things or letting things unfold in a different way and pivoting, knowing that perhaps this is serving in a profound, meaningful way. So temperance speaks to my embodied feeling around temperance. It speaks to openness and flexibility and balance. Okay, just sort of a balance for all these various energies and all the nuances and all these different energies that we're all playing with here in this realm. Okay, in alignment with our integrity. And then the last one is courage. So we have cowardice and we have foolhardiness. So yeah, so first of all, I love the word courage because it has that prefix coeur, which in French means heart. So when we are in a heart-centered space in our courage, we are leading from really all those things listed above: integrity, discernment, love, respect, humility, diligence, temperance. We're leading from unconditional love for ourselves and for others. That is courage. Okay. And so if we go into cowardice, now we are afraid, we are in fear that being our authentic self, okay, leading from, speaking from our authentic self is going to result in some type of persecution or harm or something like that. Okay, which again, it's not our fault. That's been the programming and the indoctrination, but you are safe because you are multidimensional. And even when your physical body dies, you go on infinitely forever and ever and ever. Okay, this is literally a chapter in an infinite, never-ending book. Okay. So you might as well be you. You might as well be your authentic self and have fun with it and experience as much as you can through you, because that's what you wanted to experience when you came in here. You wanted to experience you here. Now, foolhardiness might be where we're not bringing in wisdom and discernment, right? We might not be hooking into our knowings, our learnings, right? We might be coming from a place even of self-sabotage, you know? We might be jumping without thinking into situations or battles that are not for us, but are perhaps fueling other energies that um, are not coming from us, are not coming from ourselves as a creator, right? So a lot of times, like for example, if you see some sort of fight where you have two different narratives opposing each other, we might run into that fight thinking that, we're encouraged right now, we're going to be speaking for what is right. But really, all we're doing is fueling the narratives, and we get sucked into a trap and we can spin there forever, as opposed to getting above and beyond the narratives and remembering what this place is and who we really are. Okay. And then leading from courage in that space. That takes a lot of courage because you're not joining the herd now. You're not joining one of the herds. You're staying you. You're staying above and beyond it all. And you're bringing yourself in a unique way, as opposed to just jumping into one side of a battle. Okay. That is holographic and fabricated to begin with. Because even if we look at things that are going on externally in the world, in this realm, it's all, they tell us this is going on, they tell us this thing is happening, and then they present different sides to choose. Okay, so that's an example. When you're in courage, you are staying in alignment with yourself and your individuated self. Foolhardiness could also be like, if you're putting yourself in danger in some way for like no good reason. You know what I mean? Like if somebody comes into my home tonight and threatens me and my family, you bet your butt I'm going to be in protective mode immediately, right? But I'm also not going to go out looking for something like that to happen so that I can prove to myself that I have courage, right? So, discernment and wisdom. Okay, so I hope that this video was meaningful for you. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel growing. I'm trying to keep this conversation going. My whole work here is to help you remember, to support you to remember, because you have to remember for yourself. I'm going to stop sharing here. I cannot do that work for you. I'm not supposed to. That is a gift. You get to do it for yourself. That is your game. That is your journey from your mind to your heart. Okay. So my work here is just drop some clues, drop some keys, drop some information that perhaps assists you in remembering that. Okay. If you would like to schedule a one-on-one session with me, you can go to my website. I will put the link in the description box. I also have a online workshop going on right now, an integration and empowerment workshop. And in the summer months here in Central New York, I also host in-person workshops, very small, intimate in-person workshops, up to like 5 people at a time, here on the river that I guardian in my guest house, which I have put so much love into creating for you. And I just love so much to meet with other source streams who are on this journey and are so brave and amazing and doing all the work that you're doing here in the world and just bringing yourself to the world every single day the way that you do. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me here. And yeah, please reach out and connect to me if you are called. Okay, lots of love.